We recording? As always, what's up, everybody? Alex at ALP Entertainment with a new episode and with the co-host, as always, Luke. Luke, say what's up to people.
What up, what up?
Guys, when we talking this, the long season, when we talking about the Iowa game, how things ended, we'll grade the season, we'll grade the staff, we'll give everybody our predictions for the next year of 2024. We'll talk some Nebraska basketball as always, and then we will kind of gauge some feedback from you guys of what we want, what you guys want to hear from us, whether if it's changing our focus to all sports or whatever it may be. And as well, you guys, I'm super excited to announce that we have another special guest tonight. It's a returning guest, so please welcome Keyshawn. All right, so the Iowa game, right? I didn't get to watch most of it, which sucks. I had to work, but I did get to catch a little bit of the end. I did get to watch some press conference stuff from Matt Rule. In the last quarter that I watched, which is the whole fourth quarter, I would say I was not impressed by Iowa. I don't know if it was just like because we're equally terrible or just because we played them so well and so close. What do you think?
I definitely was not impressed with Iowa. I also wasn't impressed with us, but I mean, either team could have won that game. It would have been different if Alvano made that field goal. Would have been a little different in that fourth quarter, but I would have liked to seen some different play calling in the fourth. Just something else. Maybe play for OT and see what happens. But
I like the way that we attacked that cover too, though. Hitting the middle of the field. I mean, it seemed to be working, and I think that finally Iowa made the adjustment. And I also think that final play with Purdy, I think he just threw it to the wrong receiver.
Yeah, he stared him down the whole time. It was
like
Luke,
a high school
move.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew it was going to be close every time we play them. It's a close game, and it's just which side of the ball can step up the most.
Luke just fell back in.
And we would have never caught this if we didn't have.
Oh my god, dude!
No, but our defense held up their end of the bargain pretty much the entire time, and it just seems like every time that we're into this position where we need either the offense to step up or the defense to step up, obviously we can't trust the offense, but the defense seems to give up one kind of big chunk play towards of every game, end of every game that we play, and sure enough, they pulled out like a 40-yard run or something. Like we stopped the run the entire game, and then just randomly towards the end when we needed to stop them to keep them out of field goal range, they get a chunk run play. So you have to, as much as you want to put it onto the offense, like the defense needs to be able to step up in that spot too when you need them most.
I felt like going into that game, there was a part of me that was like hoping that Iowa would have been like, hey, we already clinched the Big Ten West title. We already clinched a spot in the Big Ten championship. Like, we're going to take it easy. But obviously there's also the realistic side of me that realized that it's a rivalry game. They weren't going to let up. I also didn't like how Coach Satterfield called Iowa players a bunch of grown men that sit in cubicles. Like, I thought that was like strange. I don't know what.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he was like meaning by it. But it also tells me that Coach Satterfield's kind of just like out of the loop with a lot of things. How'd you guys think like Chubba played? Like, because it was his second start. I know that kind of looking out of Satterfield's point of view of how he wants to run the offense, it seems like Purdy is his go-to quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think Harburg or Sims fit that mold. I thought it was Purdy all the way for him, particularly. I do believe that if we had Harburg healthy, I think he would have given us the best chance to win.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I really got nothing on this one.
Luke, yeah.
Nah, I mean, Iowa's definitely was the best defense. Besides Michigan, was the best defense that we'd face all year. So you need someone that can push them down the field, and just be able to run the offense. And their linebackers are way too quick. And honestly, I think Chubba is faster than Harburg. I think he got, like, they tracked his mileage or whatever last game, and it it got up higher than Harburg's did. So, and he just looks a little quicker and more athletic when he runs, and he is a better passer. So I don't know. I feel like we had the best chance with Chuba. And it just came down to special teams, and Iowa's really good at special teams, and we weren't able to come in clutch with the field goal. Although we did block 2 field goals.
We did block 2. It was wild. It was I thought it was a really good back and forth game. From what I was kind of following on my phone and just kind of watching the fourth quarter, I felt like it was a very good back and forth game. It's exactly what you expect from an Iowa versus Nebraska game, the rivalry game.
And as usual, it came down to a field goal.
And it always does, and it makes me mad.
Except for last year when you whooped.
That's because Trey Palmer and literally is just the kind of the whole Casey Thompson's idea of fuck it, Trey Palmer's down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Just chucked it deep and he scored 2 or 3 times.
Does.
That's what Baker does, yeah, now in Tampa. But I will say too, let's go into the grades. I guess we can start with the biggest question mark, in my opinion, going into the year was our wide receivers. Luke, how do you think that the wide receivers graded? I would we'll just go A letter grades, A to F. We'll just go that. You can go pluses and minus too. It don't matter.
I don't know. That one's probably one of the harder ones to grade. That one in the running back room, just because of the abnormal amount of injuries that happened. Pretty much all of our starting wide receivers got hurt right off the bat. But as far as, I don't know, it's tough because then you have freshmen and you wanted them to be a little bit more ready, but you have to remember that they recruited these freshmen and they were kind of more track athletes instead of football athletes. And so they took a little bit longer to learn the schemes and just learn the game. But I mean, by the end of the year towards Iowa, some of those freshmen that we had, especially Doss, who I thought was probably our closest to fuck it, Trey Palmer's down there somewhere kind of guy. I mean, I saw the stat this year that only 2 players had catches over 50 yards for touchdowns this year. Marvin Harrison Jr., Maserati Marv, and then our very own Jaden Doss. So, I mean, if you want to look up, I think we have upside. Coleman and Doss,
Lloyd
a little bit. I think he had some injuries that were kind of helping him not get onto the field, but and then just, I don't know, our tight end. I feel like our tight ends need to step up. Fedoni really needed to step up towards the end of the game, but I feel like it's tough because pretty much every game we had a different quarterback starting, so you don't have that connection. You could tell when Harburg was in, he's throwing it to Fedoni. When Chuba is in, he likes to throw it to Bullock. Like they all have like a certain person that they rely on, and so that's why I kind of feel like Fedoni kind of silenced out towards the end of the year. But overall grade with all of that happening, I'd probably do a B minus.
Wow.
Maybe a really low B minus. Yeah.
I was thinking more of a C plus. I kind of do. I want to respectfully disagree with you on that one because it's like you train these dudes fall camp, preseason to be ready, next man up mentality, and it definitely showed throughout the team that it's like we're young, we have a lot of young talent that did step up to the plate. I think it kind of goes back to the coaching aspect of McGuire, essentially, just kind of being an inexperienced coach, being a younger coach. I think that will come with time. I do believe that we finished stronger at a wide receiver stance than we did start with. Obviously, losing some key starters and just upperclassmen, even losing Billy Kemp for the couple games that we did, it hurt us. I think definitely Jalen Lloyd, came through for us, and Malachi became a number 1 target. So I think that the defenses started kind of honing in, kind of what we said a couple episodes ago, where they're going to start honing in on Malachi quite a bit more. It seemed like they were doing so, and like the only chink in Iowa's cover 2 defense is the middle of the field, and we exploited it every single big play we had. But eventually, they're going to make the switch to where that's not possible. So it looks like they did so. I give it a C plus. What do you think for wide receivers, Keyshawn?
I'm more towards your end. I'll just to be different. I was going to say C plus. I'll say C. Like, yeah, we had some younger guys come in, so kind of how you take it. But The thing I do like though is these kids that were playing high school ball last year are finally getting a chance, getting thrown out there due to injuries and stuff. So I think for now it'll be a C, but I think later on as those younger guys see more of the field, I think that grade will go up.
I think we can go. Let's stay on the offensive side of the ball. We'll say fuck it. We'll stay offensively. We'll group in the tight ends with the wide receivers, so we'll just keep that the way it is. Let's go running backs. Running backs, I give us fuck. I give us a B. I think I think a standard B is good. I think that the ball security was our main issue. I think that Emmett Johnson definitely flourished when he was handed the ball, even though we didn't give it to him as much as we'd hoped. Anthony Grant did a better job of ball security throughout the year, especially after the critique that he was receiving from his coaches. Husker Nation essentially was just ripping that dude apart. So I do want to give it a B. I think losing Anthony Grant next year is not going to be a huge loss for us. I think we're going to, miss him in some aspects, like the kind of 3rd and 1 downs, but I still trust Emmett Johnson, and I believe in him to be that workhorse for us next year. So I give it a solid B for the running backs.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I was kind of upset we moved on. I was going to try and defend my wide receiver takes. I mean, literally all of them were literally track. They were all track.
Yeah,
they were all track athletes in high school, like more track than football. And we had like 3 or 4 Omaha kids starting as our wide receivers. And by the end of the year, we were scoring 14, 17 points a game. Like, I don't know, people forget that we lost Isaiah Castaneda, ICA or whatever his name is.
Isaiah Castaneda Gomez?
The white,
the Hispanic dude?
Castaneda. Yeah. And then right off the bat, our number 1 wide receivers decided he doesn't want to play football anymore. So all of our proven wide receivers that have actually played football before bailed or got hurt. And so I was kind of proud. Like, I was just proud of the Omaha kids and how they kind of stepped up towards the end. Especially, I don't know. That's just how I feel. Because
that's fine, dog. Defend your take, and that's just fine.
Running backs, kind of the same thing, though. I mean, like, right off the back, the 2 running backs, if you look back and towards the beginning of the season, the running backs that had the most touches, most production was Gabe Ervin and Ramir Johnson, both who got hurt right at the beginning of the season. And so for a room that maybe we thought at the beginning of the year was super stacked, maybe wasn't as good as we thought because we knew Anthony Grant had the fumbling issues, and then no one really knew about Emmett Johnson, and he was kind of the surprise player this year for the running back room. But I also saw a thing, if you look at, they capped him around 17 carries. Like almost every game he played, they capped him around 17. And I feel like they really want to continue to do that. So I feel like they're going to try and go get a big, thick boy that'll run the other times. And then they'll get Ramir or Emmett Johnson those 17 carries, because he goes like 17 for 75. That's like pretty much every game that he's gotten.
Do you think Ramir comes back?
He has so many injuries. I know Matt Rule would welcome it because he just fucking loves that dude. But
you just made that, like, I know you didn't mean to say his name, but it made me think, like,
and then with Gabe,
we still have Ramir come back and Gabe Ervin.
Gabe Ervin, yeah, both of them are kind of injury prone, so you don't know exactly how their bodies will hold up or what they want to decide to do. More specifically, Gabe Ervin, he's literally been injured like 3 times at all 3 years that he's played football. So they'll have to go into the portal and get some people. They know that they have a reliable one with Emmett Johnson, but AG is definitely gone because it was his 6th year this year. So they're going to have to dip their toe in the portal for running backs as well.
Yeah, I think that Emmett Johnson's going to be your workhorse. He's going to be your trailblazer. He's going to be just like the guy that you have to lean on for everything, every single thing. It sucks. I really do hope Ramir and Gabe come back healthy. And I know that they will. I mean, you've been rehabbing for half the season, and now you have off season into preseason to rehab still. So I'm curious to see their one, where they're at their recovery, and 2, just kind of excited to see the changes that they make. What do you got for a grade?
Probably a C plus B minus area. We're good. Like they're all young. I don't know Husker like y'all do. So I'm looking up names and yeah, I'm looking up names. Oh, I know names, but I'm looking up like their years. And I mean, the fact that I only see one senior and a junior, it's a young room, so they can develop too.
You have to remember that the running numbers are going to be skewed because pretty much 40% of the time that we were running it, it was quarterback run.
Oh,
so
that's right.
We did.
Yeah.
That's also.
If you look at stats, like our rushing game this year was actually pretty good, but we cannot survive as a team in the Big Ten when you run it 40% of the time with your quarterback. And so that's kind of, we've talked about how we're going to potentially lean more towards a pocket passer rather
more
than
of a pro
threat.
style.
Yeah. Instead of a guy trying to play quarterback, we're going to try and get a quarterback.
Do you guys even go ahead?
I was going to say that's also one thing I was going to agree with because I remember at one point in the season, Harburg was our leading passer, obviously, but he was also our leading rusher. So it's like these guys don't even like they get opportunities, but when your quarterback runs it all the time, it's kind of hard to put up numbers that show what these guys can do.
Do you guys even want to grade the quarterbacks? Like I feel like that grade is kind of up in the air because of the amount of changes that we made game to game, week to week.
Literally in a game.
Yeah, we had all of them play in one game.
Everyone played in one game.
I don't know. I think that if
they forgot to turn in the assignment, they don't get a grade.
Yeah. I think that they're still sitting at a question mark on their assignment. Excuse me. I think that if I were to give them a grade, I think I would give them a D. Like I would go with D. I would not give them an F because it's like I hate to be that person, but it's like, you tried. Like you tried.
This is a participation.
It sucks, dude. Like it does suck with the transitional year of getting a new coach, getting a whole new staff, and expecting you have one passing quarterback. You went out to a portal to get a guy, and he didn't work out. You had to pretty much coach a backup quarterback who has never taken an in-game snap at all to be a starter. And yeah, he won us some games, but to your guys' points, he won us the game on his feet. He didn't throw the ball very well or even at all to the point where he was winning us the games. It was him on the feet, and it was our defense. I've been saying it all year. That's the hole in our team. It's been not the X factor, excuse me, but it's been the hole in the gap in our team for building. And I think that we need to go get a quarterback out of the transfer portal. And I know that it seems like Coach Rule and his staff is going to be very aggressive in the portal. I really hope so. There are already some big dudes that already put their name out there as of today because the portal just opened this morning. So I really hope that they get somebody to help because it seems like we're doing pretty well from every other lens. So I think that the quarterback position is the one that we need to fill the most. It's got the most question marks around it.
Yeah, we'll have to. What's kind of nice though is because the past couple of years we've always had decent quarterback play and good wide receiver play and not very good in the trenches, offensive or defensive line. And starting next year, you have returners and bona fide, like proven studs on both of those ends. And so now really your main focus is going to be building up the young guys in those rooms, building up the freshmen that played a lot this year in the skill position rooms, and then hitting the portal hard for some more skill position players because you can't ever have enough, as we learned this year with all the injuries. Like we thought at the beginning of the year, we're stacked in the running back and kind of stacked in the wide receiver room, and then by the end of the year, it was pretty much the complete opposite. Like we had two running backs and like maybe three productive wide receivers.
We also lost Marcus Washington to the torn ACL.
Yeah, Marcus Washington was gone. Yeah, so it was tough. We had, who knows what this season would have been if everything, or if all these injuries on the offensive side, really it's just the offensive side, didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, what were we grading? Quarterbacks? Yeah, I mean, they were all pretty much the same person, and then Chubba Purdy like eventually learned to not crap his pants in a game a little bit, and so he won the job towards the end after everyone was getting hurt all these times, even though was supposed to have an in-season groin surgery
What?
that he had to. Chuba Purdy was supposed. Excuse me. Chuba Purdy was scheduled to have an in-season groin surgery this year, and he held off on it for the last 2 games to start.
Oh, dude, I didn't know. Yeah, literally, I did not know that. I do think that Purdy kind of flourished in Satterfield's like scheme, like his offensive scheme. It seemed like he actually flourished pretty well. I think Harburg and dude, Jeff Sims is so weird to me because Jeff Sims like was brought in
Weird
to,
looking too.
yeah, he looks like a turtle, but
Oh, facts.
he was
His
brought.
chin strap look right here.
He was like Justin
He
Fields.
Justin Fields action.
He was brought in to be that dual threat quarterback. He was brought in to be that passer, but I think people will overlook the fact that he led the nation in turnovers for 2 straight years at Georgia Tech.
And then came to Nebraska and did the same
Four
damn thing.
turnovers in like 2 or 3 games. It's
same thing.
Did you grade the quarterbacks? Same thing.
They didn't turn in their assignment. I have nothing to grade.
You just give them D.
Yeah. Well, hey yo.
Oh hey. Pause. I think honestly the one thing that was a big question mark for us going this season was our offensive line, and I'm gonna give them an A minus. I'm gonna give them an A minus. I'll start with that only considering that like at the beginning of the year, you know, there was a lot of question marks, there were a lot of holes in the depth chart, and we really weren't sure. We were kind of confused of who was going to play where, what line we're going to have pretty much start of game days every week. But I want to give credit to Coach Raiola and just the way that he's kind of been more aggressive on the line to his offensive linemen of just being like, hey, you know, we're in the trenches. This is the way it is. You have to be physical. You have to be mean. And it seemed to be working. And I thought like towards the end of the year that we really progressed in the right direction. So what do you think, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a do or die for Raiola just because he had the players were graded as high graded players coming out of high school. This was their 3rd, 4th, 5th years on the line. This was their 2nd year with the coach. And so if you didn't see improvement, like there was no one else to blame but him. And we did see the improvement. And by improvement, I mean we didn't talk about bad offensive line play. Even when we had some injuries or we had to switch some things around when we moved Evan Jenkins, the redshirt freshman, in there, when Teddy Prohaska went back in there, like it didn't seem like we missed a beat on the offensive line. Now they weren't amazing. They weren't like protecting our quarterback for
10
plus seconds, but they did a serviceable job, especially in the run game. I thought because they have to, with that amount of RPO, like, do you know how that's so hard on an offensive lineman to realize, like, is he going to pass it? Is he going to run it? Because a lot of those things are split decisions made by the quarterback, and you can't be
up the field.
Offsides up the field. And so you have to know that those guys have practiced hard and they're super smart when it comes to RPOs, because we didn't have a lot of penalties either this year. I felt like stupid penalties. At least
I agree.
Maybe some untimely ones, but not some stupid ones throughout the whole game.
Yeah, and even then, it's so funny to me for the untimely penalties of trying to blame the refs, right? Like if you go on social media post game and Twitter world, Twitter nation, the Twitter sphere, whatever you want to call it, X now, I don't care what the fuck you call it, but the people on Twitter, X, constantly will like nitpick game film to the point where it's like, look, the referee missed this holding call and that should have negated a pass breakup. It's like, dude, just let it go. Like you make the decisions in game and you have to live by it.
I feel like you only blame the refs when you lose.
Yeah.
When you win, you're on Twitter talking about how good your team is, defending your team. But when you lose, it's always the refs' fault. Sometimes you just got to own it. Like Matt Rule does. He owns it.
Yeah.
He owns his stuff. But I'd give the quarterback, jeez. Oh,
jeez. Offensive line.
Offensive line. Oh, big improvement. A minus, A. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like they gave him enough time. It just, when you throw interceptions.
Do you guys want to grade the defense as a whole, Or do you want to break it down to like position? Because like I think our D line was studs year round. I thought our D line were studs. I think our linebackers dealt with injuries throughout majority of the year. They did honestly the best that they could. Corners were young, inexperienced, and then you just had Quentin Newsome back there that kind of was the only I feel like the only playmaker in the secondary.
Yeah, I mean, besides Hartzog, I thought we were kind of older on the.
I thought we were younger. Maybe you're right, but I know our linebackers are old.
Yeah, Tommy. I mean, it's kind of tough to decide who's playing where because a lot of the guys are roaming. Linebackers are free safeties, or they just switch around a lot. But no, I mean, as a whole, the defense I thought did really good, more specifically against the run. Things that I were upset about from the defensive side in most of the games, I felt like a lot of our cornerbacks weren't good at locating the football, like jump ball 50-50s. Almost all the time they were facing towards the offensive player or just the opposite direction, so they get the PI on that in that instance. You got to learn to go up and at least be facing the quarterback that's throwing the football or facing the ball coming towards you. I just didn't see a lot of that, and so hopefully Evan Cooper, who's our DB coach, can get that fixed.
It's an instant. If I'm a referee or even a wide receiver, if I see that the cornerback does not turn towards the ball, it is an immediate pass interference. It is the easiest call to make, other than probably hands to the face or a face mask. But yeah, to your point, if the cornerback or the safety does not turn their head, at least it's an immediate PI. And I don't I agree with you. I don't feel like they went up for those jump balls often enough.
Yeah, well, no, I'd agree. And it's tough being a corner, wide receivers are really, really shifty now. And I mean, even a slight grab and it's colding now. I mean, you can barely put your hands on a wide receiver anytime. But I mean, to your point, yes, you should turn around and whatnot. Otherwise, it is an automatic flag. But besides that, I mean, when our defense, usually when like our offense comes on the field, I don't expect a lot. But when our defense comes on the field, I had a lot higher expectations. I knew our defense, when they needed to, could make a stop, except for the times that they didn't. But I had a lot more confidence in our defense when it was on the field.
I believe that the reason why we weren't able to make those stops in the crunch time was because they were tired.
Oh yeah, when your defense is on the field,
most
of the time, because turnovers or quick 3 and outs. I mean, eventually, defense is gonna get worn down.
I will tell you a major positive I have about Coach Rule and the entire staff is they did not cower away from the media. They did not cower away from the criticism and just the hostility that they received from reporters and Husker Nation. Like, they faced adversity head on and was like, no, we are them and we don't care what you say, we'll attack it. And they owned up to all of their mistakes. Yeah. I think that is a huge.
They were aware of what people were saying outside the walls, and Rule was very good at not showing too much on like how it affected them, but he was good with the media, letting them know that we hear you guys, like we understand.
Yeah,
we understand what you're saying, and that was kind of cool. I like this year they were just super transparent. There was adults in the room, and so like you didn't ever feel like anything was being hidden or you were being lied to about anything. And then also I really enjoyed the kind of inside YouTube videos that they were doing this year to kind of get the inside behind the door type look on the program and how he's building it and how he's installing the culture and stuff like that.
Do you think that they'll continue to do so? Because I know he has been very adamant that he hates that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a ploy. I feel like he's got to keep that persona of like, I don't want cameras on me, blah, blah, blah. But he understands that he's got to do kind of this stuff because it's a new age and these kids need to see like what their program's about. And so
I think it helps you with recruiting and transfer portal.
I think it's a lot better than, just shelling out a couple $1 million on recruiting visits or something. Like, there's schools that are doing it the wrong way, and I feel like Nebraska's kind of going about it the right way.
Keyshawn, what do you think about the whole? I don't know if you ever watch any of those YouTube shorts. They're pretty good. It's called like "Who's Next" or "Where Next," "What's Next." I can't remember what the actual first word is. I keep messing that up every single episode. But what is like your opinion on it?
Yeah. There's no way. We need to
just
get Luke a
fell
new
again.
chair. Anyway, no, I like him, especially with this new age. I mean, everything's online. Everyone has a TikTok, except for me. Everyone has TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Everyone and it's probably nice, it's like recruiting. Like you can basically have people know what it's like to be on that team before you even get there, if you're considering going there. So no, I think it's a good step moving forward, and I hope they continue doing it.
Special teams grade. Coach Foley, I would like, dude. I think I've said on this podcast. Hopefully, I have. If I haven't, I'm gonna say it again. That I am a ginormous fan of fake punts, fake field goals, like plays out of the ordinary that don't make sense, but they work out in your favor. So, like, I don't think we executed an onside kick this year because I don't think we had to or we didn't have the chance to. Block field goals have been huge for me. Fake punts have been huge for me. Fake field goals have been huge for me. So I'm giving us honestly an A. I'm going to go solid A, just across the board, a very solid A of just from that aspect. I I would have loved to give it higher, but I feel like our punting wasn't the greatest. And I also think like Alvano's inconsistency throughout the season kind of hurt us in a way. So I think I'm just going to go solid A for my grade for special teams anyways.
I would agree. Everything you said with the fakes and whatnot. I might even go like maybe B plus A minus. Alvano was kicking in high school last year, so a lot less pressure. So I mean, hopefully he can develop. Time. Yeah, if we can give him time. It just sucked because his misses were just like penalties. They were timely.
Yeah,
they were just timely misses. But I mean,
he was perfect from He was perfect from extra points, and I believe he only missed one field goal inside the 40, or if not, he didn't miss any inside the 40.
I remember looking up this stat. All of his misses were in the 40 to 49. He drilled a 55-yarder. He made all of his 30 and whatnot. But as soon as he got into the 40,
that 40 to 40,
that 40 to 49 range is really his only weakness.
It was never Matt Rule's plan to send a 17-year-old to be the starting kicker this season. And so he was kind of thrown into the fire, and I felt like he did a serviceable job. For me, special teams, I'd give him a B plus, just because this was finally a year where we put first team, second team guys onto special team. And so you just saw more athleticism and just higher level of play on the special teams. That's why you saw more blocks, block kicks, block field goals, things of that nature, which is good. And I don't want to throw Bill Bush under the bus because I'm a big Bill Bush fan and I listened to a lot of his podcasts. He was the special team coordinator last year. They just didn't have he wasn't allowed to because he wasn't able to make the call, but they just didn't have the luxury of sending out their 1s and 2s for the special teams, and it was a lot of walk-ons and 3s and 4s. And so, I mean, he did really well with the 3s and 4s and walk-ons, I thought, but you could tell the difference in play just having scholarship guys basically being on your special teams.
And I think now is the big question of what do you give Matt Rule? I know that we talked, Luke, you and I, a previous episode that I actually listened to it again today just to kind of more notes for today of we both chalked it up as an L. We thought that the season was going to be an L if we lost against Iowa, which it did. And we both had stated that it was the same thing. We believe that we had enough to win, to at least go to a bowl game. We had enough talent. It was showing, it was promising, and it just kind of panned out the same way as it always does. Those one timely penalties, those one timely stops that, it just seems like the lights are too bright. But it definitely seems like Coach Rule has changed the culture drastically for the better, and I think that's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to grade the season just because you look, I don't know, there's so many different variables. Nebraska isn't Baylor or Temple, and so you have more resources. You should be able to win more games. And so winning 5 instead of 1 or 2 like his previous stops, you can consider like good. But then you look back at the season and how you got those 5 wins. Like you were sitting at 5 with 4 games to go, and all 4 teams were on losing streaks with losing records. Besides Iowa, I guess, but on losing streaks, and they all came down to last possession type ball games. And honestly, it comes down to just who makes the play or coaching a little bit. And so I don't know, it's tough. I'm gonna say it's an L this season just because all you needed to do was win 1 more out of the last 4 games somehow, some way, to give these seniors and these fans for the past 6 years that have been bowless like something to cheer about, to play football in January, or just past December. And so I don't know. It's kind of a question is, do you think they got the most out of what they had, or do you think they could have maximized some more? And I'm really torn because just the amount of injuries, like I don't know if they maximized with the players that they had out there or if they could have done more. It's kind of tough. You feel like with 4 games left, just win 1, they could have done more.
I agree, and I think too that our defense kept us in every single one of those games. Every single one of them. The ones that we lost, I mean, other than outside of like Colorado and Michigan, which we got beat by double digits handily. But I think if we go back, obviously we could have beat Minnesota. We could have won Michigan State. We could have beat Wisconsin. We
beat Colorado. They went winless after.
Yep, winless after us. Maryland, Wisconsin, Iowa. Like I genuinely think that if it wasn't for our defense, obviously like defense stops from scoring, but I think the defense kept us in all of those games.
Yeah.
And I think the special teams kept us in the Iowa game. I don't think it was our defense. I thought our special teams, with the way that they are blocking the field goals and just being aggressive, helped us drastically. Keyshawn, what do you think?
Yeah. If we're just either W or L, I mean, I gotta go L. I gotta agree with Luke. I mean, to get to 5-3 with 4 weeks left. I mean, against what was it? Michigan State, Maryland, Wisconsin, and
Iowa.
then Iowa. I mean, you gotta pick up 1 win there. Especially we were on the road only once in Wisconsin. Every other game was a home game, or was Michigan State?
It was in East Lansing.
It was in Lansing. Okay. I mean, you got a couple of home games, but I mean, you gotta. I don't know. You gotta win those games. You can't get right there and then just stop. Like like all of them were 1 possession.
Yeah.
Every single one of them was 1 possession, which means somewhere in that game we could have won. And I don't know. I, like Luke said, I'm also kind of torn because of circumstances, but at the same time, I feel like we could have picked up at least one of those 4 games.
I think positively though, like if we're looking long term, Tony Robinson said he's coming back. That's huge. Ty Robinson. I'm sorry, Ty Robinson. Ty Robinson's coming back, which is huge for us. And then Tony White has been taking calls for head coaching jobs at other schools, which completely fine. Matt Rule said he supports it and he'll help him. It seems like the schools that have been really trying to aggressively pursue Coach White have not been successful, and they've already signed other coaches for those positions. So it seems like hopefully Coach White comes back, and that's the way it seems. I'm going to bet that Trev Alberts will probably give him a pay raise, considering the effort that he gave the first year being here, being this 7th ranked rushing defense. Like that was insane as a first year defensive coordinator for us, coming in, taking over a defense that wasn't that good. He pretty much knows what to do. I think Tony White is really good on defense, and I think we need to do whatever we can to keep him. Luke, you got anything about that one?
Yeah, no, I think he's gonna stay. I think really I really don't believe any of the coaches are going to leave after this season. If anything, we're gonna be adding a quarterbacks coach. Excuse me. Originally, Satterfield was supposed to be a tight ends coach and offensive line coach, and now he got the OC and quarterback coaching position. I don't think he's probably up for the task, or at least we need to get someone else in here to manage quarterbacks and develop quarterbacks. And he might move over to a different position or gain a different title or something. But no, I don't think anyone's going to be leaving after the Syracuse and San Diego State job got picked up. Those are really kind of the bigger schools that I thought Tony White might leave for.
I thought maybe he would even entertain the Oregon State position, but they filled that already today. So I thought maybe he would at least entertain it. It's a Pac-12 school, and it's I mean Pac-12 is falling apart, but still, it's a prestigious Power 5.
Yeah, you never know. My guess would probably be they would want to bring in a quarterbacks coach or maybe an offensive coach from another team that maybe could bring along one of their quarterbacks that's transferring from that school. That seems kind of like a common thing that's been happening lately. But no, I'm excited for a whole off season. Remember this coaching staff had like 6 months. They didn't have a full preseason to implement all of their stuff and be with their players, and so this will be their first full entire off season, and things to build on from what they had this year. So I expect another off season national championship, as always.
As usual.
I'm excited to see. Yeah, I'm excited to your point. I'm excited to see the offseason. I'm excited to see the transfer portal moves that we make or go after. Obviously, it just got announced kind of right before we start recording that Grant Bricks, 4-star offensive lineman, probably going to be a 5-star, committed to Nebraska. He's top 100. He's an interior lineman, so that's pretty huge. He's actually close to home. I mean, closer. He's in Logan, Iowa, so it's pretty close to here. Good for him. I love to see that Matt Rule and Raiola has been reaching out, not just going straight to Texas, and they're kind of still utilizing that kind of Midwest kid, farmer boy from the 90s and early 2000s kind of bodies style, essentially, to getting their offensive linemen. I think that's a good approach.
Yeah, they're definitely they're locating players that fit the Nebraska mold. So cold, windy players that don't mind playing in any condition whatsoever, and just like a hard-nosed, tough grinding kind of person. And so, I mean, more of like the skill players and stuff like that, I see them coming from Texas, maybe like defensive linemen and stuff like that from Texas. But I'm totally okay with getting Midwestern offensive linemen just
from
because
the farm.
Yeah, straight from the farm. I mean, if you saw the video of Grant Bricks, he literally gets into the Nebraska semi truck in his cowboy boots and jeans, and I mean, it fits the whole thing. So they know who they want, and they're going after players that fit their mold and their culture and like the style of football they want to play. And so I think that was a huge get because he looks exactly like the offensive lineman that Nebraska's always been recruiting.
Keyshawn, what do you think about the offseason moves? What do you think going into like the offseason? Like, what do you think we need to work on? Who do we need to get? Kind of positives.
I think we definitely need, like Luke said, quarterback, and maybe the quarterback coach follows them or whatnot. But definitely someone. I think it's time to get more of a pocket. Just step back, drop, straight drop back, ready to
like
throw.
A 3-second.
Yeah, like someone who like can get to the line. Like just maybe someone who's been around the game a little bit longer and who isn't a run first quarterback. Someone who's going to maybe stand in there when the pressure's coming and deliver a ball instead of instantly just trying to move out. Keep getting those O linemen. I mean, that's one of the shining points. Keep building that line stronger so that if we do get a pocket passer, they have time. And then maybe go after some corners. Maybe get some a little bit more seasoned or stronger corners. But rather than that, I'd say off season would just try to get a little bit better and grow as a team. Really,
I am excited to put this season to a close. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to pretty much, I don't want to say close this chapter, but put the season to rest. Finally, I think we can all be better off mentally, physically, spiritually, and just like our health overall, about like not having to worry about having a heart attack on a Saturday morning.
For a first year, I know we gave Rule an L back, but I mean, for a first year, I think it gives hope for the future.
He does.
It was still an L because we probably could have got a 6 win, but in the long run, I think we'll look back at the season and be like, it was his first
year. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Now, I would say not mine, but Luke's favorite topic to talk about, and honestly, is becoming one of mine too, is Nebraska basketball. 7-0, baby. Feels good.
Yep, 7-0. Finally, we can start cheering for a winning program.
That isn't volleyball.
Yeah, we made a bowl game.
A winning men's program. No, it's the first time since 1992 that we've been 7-0. Longest win streak since 2008. And it's definitely the deepest team that we've ever had. So really, kind of just all of the boxes are getting checked off for this to be a successful season. And I know us three here are planning to go to the Creighton, Nebraska game December 3rd on Sunday.
It's the next one.
We as Husker fans held up our end of the bargain by remaining undefeated. Unfortunately, Creighton wasn't able to do that, only scoring 48 points against Colorado State. Not really mad, just upset. Just it would have been a way bigger stage if they would have held up their end of the bargain and played like a top 10 team. But from what I've seen, they're definitely not a top 10 team. They're moved down to 15. I'd even put them in the 20s. Nebraska is a way more athletic team than Creighton is. And so I am ready. I'm so ready for Sunday.
I will say, though, Luke, spot on with your prediction for the Oregon State-Nebraska game. I think you were probably 4 to 6 points away from the actual prediction of like what you said. So major props to you. That was insane because I know that our friend Colin put it in Colin put it in the group chat that we're in. He's like, Luke was the closest. That was cool to see. I will also say that when I was watching the game, it felt like Casey was still trying to get into shape. Like obviously that ankle injury he sustained was weird.
Never look like that.
Yeah, it was weird. It looked like a break, but I felt like he was just trying to get back into his game shape, which is fine. It's the game to do it. So hopefully you're back into shape now. But no, it's perfectly fine.
Basketball is Luke's spot.
But I also feel like in the first half, I thought we looked kind of like the effort wasn't really there. It seems like we kind of had to wake up. I thought the passing looked a little lazy. I thought the effort looked a little lazy. And then once we kind of got on our little run, it felt good to see the team energetic and passionate about scoring and putting up a fight. And then obviously we just kind of went away with it, or not away with it. We ran with it. Thank you. Jeez. We ran with it of just scoring at will.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell that we just have more talent, and we can quickly fix any mistakes that we have, because this year you'll look up and watch and they're like, oh dang, they're not playing that well, they're only up 12 and not 17. And so it's a different feeling. Like they've learned how to get leads, hold on to leads, and step on people's throats, and that's kind of been like something that they haven't been able to do. They can go shot for shot, they can go body for body with athleticism, and then they have more depth than almost anyone that they've played. So just endless amounts of scoring options for them, which I think is going to really help. And they're not only just shooters, like they can score and attack.
I felt like in the first half at first, and I think it's just kind of to that slow start that, in my opinion, that's what it looked like. They were not being aggressive on the boards.
And I think as far as the Casey thing, I think they wanted him to just start chucking up shots to get his rhythm back into it, because the last game he was 5 for 5 from the field of 15, 3 for 3 from 3. Like his last 2 games, he's been insanely efficient, not shooting a ton of shots, but making almost every one that he shoots. And the greatest bright spot for this team this year is the free throws.
90%.
As a team, we're shooting over 90%, right at 90. Each of the past couple games we played, we've literally just missed like 2 to 3 to 4 maybe free throws, like 22 to 26 type of deal. So that's what's winning you games. That's what's going to win you games. And then obviously the hard-nosed defense that Coach Hoiberg has instilled and the players that he's brought in. There's people diving on the floor for loose balls.
Yeah, I agree. I think like that halftime, it like switch went off in the team, and they became way more aggressive. Especially Juwan Gary became really aggressive of just like attacking the rim, just attacking the basket, of just getting fouls and taking shots up when he had to, and just being aggressive. Like I genuinely think at halftime, like I don't know, I wish I could really just be like a fly on the wall to hear Hoiberg's and Matt Rule's halftime speeches. Obviously, we've seen a glimpse of Rules before, but I feel like Hoiberg is just an amazing teacher, as well as Matt Rule is, not only in the sport but in life. And I really do believe that that second half, Nebraska just flipped the switch, and we're scoring at will, and we're just men just destroying children out there.
Yeah, it's great to see. This is going to be, I mean, Duquesne was probably our toughest opponent that we played so far this year. And then Creighton upcoming is going to be obviously the toughest opponent, but there's literally not a single team that I see in the Big Ten or on our schedule that I'm like, yeah, we're just going to have to be on our A game to beat them, or that like we don't have a chance. There's not a team that I don't think we have a chance of winning against. And like maybe optimistic Luke a couple years ago said that as well, but like this is true facts.
You turn a new leaf.
Yes. This is true facts. Like we truly can stand up and play with almost, if not anyone in the country this year.
Oh, dude,
I was just.
You got anything to say about Nebraska basketball right now?
This is Luke's topic, so I'm just gonna get in my 2 cents real quick.
Yeah.
Yes, I love the depth. I love the way we play, and this is definitely. I know Luke in the past has said, "Oh,
This is
Nebraska basketball. Watch out. We go to a few games. It'd be fun." And then we'd always just kind of be average. But I believe him this year. After watching all these games, I mean, yeah, we, like he said, how do you pronounce that school's name? Duquesne. They were our toughest opponent, yeah, but I mean, it's just the way that we are beating teams, whereas I feel like in years past, it hasn't been this concrete.
We've been bullying teams.
Yes, that's what I mean.
We've never been able to beat people on the boards and beat people at the free throw line, and we're doing both of those like incredibly. And I'm a big shout out to Josiah Alec, the hometown guy, who just is an absolute workhorse and dives for any loose ball that he possibly can get. He has a motor that doesn't stop. And then Rank Mast is averaging a double-double every single game.
Yeah,
it's like 15 and 10 is almost a guaranteed for you every game. And so just having those type of players along with really long and lengthy guards like CJ and Bryce Williams and Juwan Gary, like there's no reason that we should lose any game on the boards at least. And so I don't know. There's not really any category that I can think of that we're weak in. Like it'll be nice to try and get Blaze Cada back because we don't have that just beefy brick house dude to stop players, but I think we make up with it with athleticism and like our length and stuff like that. We can play when you play Josiah Alec, there's lineups where we play Josiah Alec, Juwan Gary, and Rake Mast all at the same time. All those players are 6'9" or taller, and all of those players are trying to get like 10 rebounds a game. And so you don't really have to worry about not having a 7-footer when you have 3 6'9", 6'10" guys that crash the boards like crazy.
I think now I want to talk more local, right? Let's stay a little bit more local. Big news in Nebraska sports. Westside won second straight Class A state football championship. Dominated.
It wasn't even
entire year. They only allowed 13 points all year? They pitched 8 shutouts.
That didn't come. I mean, teams would score, but it would be more towards the end.
I think North-South was the only one that put up the most points against them. It still wasn't close, but North-South was the number 2 team in the state all year. Westside won 48, I believe, 48, 46.
In the final?
Yeah.
56-0.
56. Holy
Yeah.
shit! Sorry, 56-0.
It's because in regular season, you take your starters out, but when you're playing in Memorial, I mean, that's it.
But I also think too that the coach of Westside probably allowed his underclassmen to kind of just see what it felt like to get on the.
Some of the players are trying to play for a scholarship too, so there's no point in being sportsmanlike and you want to run up the score and play your best game possible because it's your last game in high school. So
I couldn't agree more.
God, dude, there's talk about them being the greatest team ever in Nebraska history, assembled.
I'd throw them up there.
I'll throw them up there too.
Let me pull up their points for, because I guarantee it was not high. Or points against, sorry. Their points against their points for. I bet it's not even close.
I think, dude, that they scored high 30s, low 40s in every game. And like I said, they pitched 8 shutouts.
Yeah.
8 shutout games. That is insane.
It's pretty gross.
And one of them was your state championship game.
56-0.
They shut out Millard West too, didn't they?
Yeah, Millard West got 3 on.
I'm looking it up. I got their schedule.
Yeah, this is something that
no, they didn't. 41-0. So in the Class A, which is the highest level of football here in Nebraska, although there's talent everywhere, but at the quote highest level in their playoff, how many they scored? They allowed 6 points between 4 games.
And it was against Bell West?
Their first game was against Creighton Prep, then Bellevue West, then Millard West, and then in the final Elkhorn South. Between those 4 teams.
But who scored the 6 points? Bell West?
Creighton Prep.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
Let me check what quarter it was in before we start,
I could have swore.
You get the Creighton Prep tight end.
Yeah, Creighton Prep tight end. I did see this morning that Isaiah McMorris from Bell West, one of the wide receivers that committed to Nebraska, got an offer from Mississippi State.
I don't like
I
that.
don't like that offer. It's telling me that he's not all the way committed to Nebraska in a way.
He's not. He did this. I'm gonna go on a tangent real quick. He did this with basketball because he played basketball at Millard North for his first couple years, and then transferred to Bell West during the time where it was Millard North, Bell West for years straight. Transferred to Bell West, and then Bell West won state basketball.
Basketball.
They won state basketball last year.
Yep.
So he's not. He goes. I feel like he just doesn't commit to really much. I wouldn't be surprised if wherever he goes, if he doesn't see the field or he doesn't put up the stats or whatever, he'll transfer. He's going to be that dude that just floats in the transfer portal.
Hopefully not. I hope he stays committed to Nebraska. I will also say, to Rizak, the quarterback of Westside, has shattered Class A records in the playoffs, school records. The dude, as of this morning, committed to Notre Dame as a preferred walk-on, but it's also because his brother goes to school there and plays there. So that's cool to see that him and his brother are going to be able to play with one another at Notre Dame. I genuinely believe that he might have a chance. Obviously, it's a preferred walk-on. I get it, but Notre Dame's quarterback right now is a super, super senior, so it seems like he might have a chance to get some playing time or at least earn his scholarship. I do believe that him going to Notre Dame was a giant middle finger to Nebraska in a way, because kind of what you, Luke, and I talked about in a previous episode of Nebraska picked Danny Kalen over Rizak, which it is what it is. We'll see if it works out, but numbers don't lie, stats don't lie, and Rizak looked like just the way better quarterback this year in Class A football.
I'd agree. Just looking at the stats for Westside, I mean, it's not even close. What do you think their average points per game was, real quick?
34?
46.
Jesus.
46 per game.
Dude, I played
83 total touchdowns.
Oh, fuck.
In one.
Say what you just said to me real quick.
About points for?
Yeah.
So just going on how this year's Westside team was the greatest team I've ever seen, and of all time, probably Nebraska. So their points for between 13 games or points against rather, in 13 games was 46.
They allowed 46
They
points the entire
allowed
season.
46 points, which is funny because that is the average amount of points they scored per game. So their average
Jesus.
points per game was the
ratio.
same as the amount of points they would allow in an entire season.
Dude, that team, and I genuinely think like it's going to be them in North-South for years to come.
Oh, yeah.
They've established a pipeline. I know that Steve Warren with the Warren Academy here in Omaha, that's huge. Steve Warren's son is the backup quarterback at Westside currently, who's a sophomore. And when your dad was an NFL quarterback, like you should be good. Obviously, some people don't work out, but your dad has his own quarterback academy that is nationally known now.
Yes.
Like you are going to be him. You're fine. You are him.
You better be him.
So I just cannot believe that.
I feel bad for Classic.
Yeah, Chandler Jones, or not Christian Jones. Yeah, Christian Jones is still there, who just accepted a invitation to the All-American Bowl as a junior.
Did you know he ran a 10-8?
Yeah.
100?
Yeah. Did you know that he won
10-8?
He didn't, I don't think he won it, but he came in the top 5 finalists of like all players as a sophomore. He like went to some camp where there was juniors and seniors and some sophomores, and he competed in physically and just like tested in the top 5.
He is a literal specimen. Mal is his brother, or Mal's brother Landon.
Yeah,
he played battle with him, and those two are like they're tight. They hang out all the time. Like just seeing Christian just not on the field. I mean, he just doesn't look like a high school kid. He looks more grown than me.
Yeah,
like he's just. Oh my goodness!
I'm curious to see where he goes. Like, obviously, people are
Penn State wants him.
Penn State really
Notre
wants
Dame
him.
wants him.
I know that they're crystal balling him to Nebraska, but I think God and all the football gods in this world don't want him to come to Nebraska. I think it's genuinely because we want to see an Omaha person go to the NFL, and it's nice to see. He's got the build. He's got the skills. Back to like the whole West Side thing. I have been fortunate enough to play against 2 current NFL players in my time. One of them's Noah Fant, who plays the tight end for the Seahawks, and the other one's Harrison Phillips, who is the starting defensive tackle for the Vikings.
I think he's up there in sacks.
He is. Harrison Phillips and
he's
balling.
Tied with Watt, I believe. I can't remember.
It might be Max Crosby or Myles Garrett. Anyways,
he's tied with somebody.
Yeah, Harry is kind of like, to your point, was a grown man just playing with his food.
He's a grown man in a boy's world.
That's literally how he was. And Noah Fant was the exact same way.
Went to Miller South, right?
Noah Fant went to Omaha South.
Oh, he went to Omaha. Wrong South.
We actually beat them. I'm going to brag about that real quick. We beat them 32-8. And he scored their only touchdown, but that's because we double teamed him the entire game. So
look at you playing with.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and then we
didn't have those out in Utah.
I got beat 54-0 by Harrison Phillips, so I can't really say much.
Enough.
That dude, he actually laid me on my ass, so I'm okay with it.
No, everyone has a story.
Anyways, no, it's just cool to see like these Omaha kids finally make it to prestigious colleges and hopefully do well and potentially go to the league. Like that's what we want. I mean, we want kids from here to excel and succeed. And me being a coach, like that's something I pride myself in. I don't care about the wins. I don't care about the losses. Accolades don't mean shit. Yeah, accolades don't mean shit to me. I want to see my players succeed in their sports and in their lives, becoming better men and women. I've coached from women football, so it's pretty cool. But I just want to see them grow. So that's kind of the whole point of why you coach and why you do it.
Yeah, I can agree as a coach as well. It's all about seeing them go next level.
That's what you want. You just want to see them you want to see them progress in life. I don't know. Luke, you got anything for the episode tonight? Anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much it. We'll definitely, all 3 of us will try and get back to you after this Nebraska Creighton game, and we'll chop it up and talk about that one. Hopefully it's a win.
Guys, we are trying to get a visual of us recording. Obviously we've been kind of more just audio, behind no camera, but now we're trying to show you guys our pretty faces, and we're trying to just get behind the camera, show everybody what it's like being us. And we're three typical dudes. We're 3 typical dudes, like to just hang out, talk about sports, talk about life. I
We
want to
don't
say
really talk about life.
sometimes we do. It just depends on the day. Talk about like just pretty much sports.
Talk a lot about anime, but we're not going to go.
That we do. It's a whole other episode.
It's a whole other podcast. And Luke fell over again.
Oh Jesus.
This is just this ending is just kind of
this is our friendship.
Just normal.
This is a normal typical day in our friendship. Just
fun fact, we were supposed to record like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, and we've just been messing around and just got sidetracked. But no, guys, I want to thank Keyshawn for coming back on. It's been you're welcome whenever to come back on, dude. Just let us know. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna get more video going in the future. Luke and I are gonna upgrade our equipment. I'm kind of looking at some stuff already. So, as always, guys, share, tell everybody to listen to us, give us a listen, and as always, stay fresh, stay crispy. We appreciate you guys. Stay crispy. Luke can't get up after the chair. Oh my God, Luke, do you have anything else? Do you want to say to the people while you are sitting upside down?
No, I think that's good. We'll just see you guys next week, next episode. Thanks for listening.
All right, guys, take care. We'll see you later.
Peace out.